突然就跑出了一堆人，其实也没有一堆人啊，2个人。我的聊天室没有更新，为什么？OK， 好，我们回来。嗨，猪猪猫猫，嗨，莫伊，这是算早吗？11点。对，呃，你给我的书，这个我可以尽量找看看，因为老实说，我必须要我现在在美国，我必须要去图书馆或者是看哪个地方能够找到这本书。如果可以的话，我下一次就播这本。但你要给我一点时间，看我有没有办法找到这本书。应该有吧？应该图书馆都会有。对，嗯，呃，今天的话是我自己的书，呵呵，我自己需要看的书。对，加油。 不会，会稍微讲一下我看了什么东西，但是会等到呃，好，我这里是11点，你们那边应该是12点的时候，我就不看了，这样会停下来，是想稍微讲一下我看了什么。 OK， 时间差不多，我们来看一下我读了多少东西。算是一种自我记录啦，就是对，对，我想想看怎么弄比较好哦。这样 ，OK， 我们从第3章开始看，就是好。当然我其实想说，做一个读书时间，不外乎就是督促自己读书了，哈哈哈。哎，绑在一起，哎，把读书跟开台绑在一起，没人可以逃得了，只有我逃不了。OK， 好，61页。等我一下，打个喷嚏。哦，好，那因为我们稍微介绍一下我今天挑的这本书是什么书。它其实跟我自己本身的就是在研究的东西有一点相关的，所以这个算是一个比较不能说入门，虽然它其实有很多前置的那个知识内容在，因为毕竟是类似教科书的东西，但因为这已经算是蛮深的基础。不是说蛮深的基础，蛮深的基础到底是深还是基础？要说比较深入的内容吧，那多半是会在硕士班或者是博士班的时候你会遇到这样子的内容。所以，那这本书呢，它是在讲问流理论，所以还是跟流体力学有关系的。嘿嘿，因为问流呢，它会就是一种可能没有我不知道从哪里开始解释就好了，还是我就解释我看的就好了，不要讲太多。对，因为我其实没有，就差不多时间我也该关台这样。发现我的研究是，发现我的不是研究是靠，发现我的聊天室延迟很严重。我也这么觉得，我觉得我的网络现在不是很好，我感觉我的网络现在不是很好，不如我重新连连看。哎，好，重来，有，OK，那我从我介绍他的那个目录好了，就是看一本书从目录开始看嘛。不过我已经稍微有看过这本书了，我只是把它 pick up 再来读一次。那目录是就是从物理开始，它是从物理这本书当然它 Part One Part Two 是 Modeling and Simulation 的部分，那 Part One 是本身物理它自己一些 fundamental 了，那前面会有一个 introduction about the nature of the turbulence flows and the study of the turbulence flows, why people study turbulence flow. And in the chapter 2 we use like equation of the fluid motion. They will discuss about what kind of the governing equation that's governing the fluid motion. And in the turbulence flows, uh, I actually skipped this part. I started from the chapter 3 because I see that those are a lot of the equations. I need to go through lots of the equations. I should grab a pen and a paper to write it down to try to like derivate all these equations by myself. But yeah, whatever. I just don't want to do this this kind of thing is too heavy for now. But definitely we will come back to the equation of the fluid motion, since this is the basis. You cannot just skip this, okay? Yeah, so we will come back to that, but I will need to find a way to like how to express this kind of thing more better. Because you cannot just like listen to me talking about this kind of thing, but you cannot imagine what exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. So we will go back to the fluid motion, or I will go back to the fluid motion, because this is kind of review for me. Like, okay, but I can briefly introduce what kind of the equation is. Very simple, like the continuity equation, momentum equation. Yeah, it will introduce another equation that's called Poisson equation, but that is relative to the pressure. So it is actually derivative from like derived, not derivative, derived from a combination of the continuity equation and the momentum equation. So in the context is the role of the pressure, but yeah, it is actually the Poisson equation. But the Poisson equation is a little bit more not familiar for me. I'm not familiar to a Poisson equation. Yeah, and to further equations derivation, that is the vorticity equation, and the other like the rotation and the strain and the transformation, like blah blah blah. Yeah, we will go back to that. So for today, I want to what did I read is about statistical distribution. This, I say that's too fast. Statistical description of the turbulence flow. That is the chapter 3 in this book. So let me start from the random. It would say that the random nature of the turbulence. So what is a turbulence? I don't want to just like start from the nominal and turbulence and blah 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 to very beginning of the theory of the fluid mechanics. But you can just like admit that when the flow goes through, probably they will have some fluctuations or some or vortex inside your flow. Not I own that is not good to say to vortex, because vortex will still have a chance is a nominal, is not a turbulence. Yeah, but okay, let me see what they say. I probably cannot use my own word, or I need to try to use my own word. Sorry. Let's see. So, but actually, I take the class in the university to see, and the instructor was tell me like, how do you think about the turbulence? We will say the turbulence in in my language is called 乱流, yeah, this kind of thing, and probably you may hear about these words when you are when you're on the airplane, and the captain will say, "Oh no, we are encountering some turbulence. You need to sit on your seat." Yeah, and so your seat belt like this, tied up your seat belt, and use use a very unclear voice to tell you about what exactly happening. And people, the airplanes are shaking, the turbulence. Wow, so terrible, so horrible. But okay, you know the turbulence that is may make your make your flight not not that still. So your airplane is shaking. Your airplane is like undergoing like a flow, because you can also say like a airflow. The airflow is not that quite stable, so that your airplanes are shaking, fluctuating, and maybe yeah. But okay, so now then we are going to that. Do you know exactly how the airplane shaking? Like you know that the wind is blowing. There is a flows like influence the airplanes. But can you can you just exactly to say, oh, what is this kind of flow? Probably not. So that's why it's shaking. So we will use a word that's called random, the random nature to. I don't think this is I think I talk too much about this. I should I should put the importance the important part. I should point out the important part. Okay, the important part is like, even though that like, there is a boundary conditions or sorry. Oh, okay. We directly use a Navier-Stokes equation here. In the Navier-Stokes equation, you probably will get a certain velocity inside your equation. Then you can solve the rest terms you want by these equations. But what if the velocity there is a random velocity? So that is the first part of the first part of the chapter 3 is let me see. No, I can't. I don't. I don't want to say. I should describe by my words. I should not go back to the books. Yeah. So it say it's in a specific condition. A specific condition they call C, and there was a specific like a velocity is happening. And that velocity, we can say that the velocity is under 10 meter per second. But what exactly these kind of things happening, you cannot know. So it will say it is a random process. So the magnitude of the velocity is from, okay, probably will have a minus infinity to 10, or we can like shrink it to 0 to 10. But what exactly for in this case, like you're doing an experiment for a repeating experiment many times, and for the first time, like n equals to 1, you got a velocity 1. Next time you get 2, next time you get 1, next time you get 3, next time you get blah, 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 different, a very different kind of the velocity components. That not the velocity groups, and usually that is a random velocity there. But when we back to the like if we trust that Navier-Stokes equation is true, so, or you can say probably different kind of the governing equations like PDE is true, then in a certain boundary condition, why you will get such differences velocity here? This is because我其实不知道为什么我要这么坚持，但是我很想继续下去，不知道什么，就是对自己的一种磨练。好，我们到11点半了，也就是在15分钟之后关台，那我很尽量的要就是把这个东西讲完哦。那对，OK。Okay, so I should not go very detailed, but like in the other, the point is that actually everything for your your boundary condition, your initial condition have a little bit fluctuating. So it is not a constant one. Like you imagine there is a flow in the pipe, and you can, in the real world, you are considering a real world, you cannot guarantee that the flow inside your pipe is totally nominal or just very smooth. There is no fluctuation, no any other directions flow. You cannot guarantee that. But why we still get a velocity that we think that is truth. Like if you use a home, if you use a pipe, I would say there's a pipe, and the flow goes out, outflow from pipe, and you get a velocity, a stable velocity there. But you can still actually know that the boundary condition, the outflow boundary condition, the inflow boundary condition should have a little fluctuating, and the flow inside your pipe also have a fluctuation inside. But while the velocity come out, you can use a very simple equation to describe it, and you will not get the wrong one. That's because it is a stable system that your flow is not that sensitive to your pipe, and not to your boundary condition. So what is the to your pipe, to your boundary condition, to your initial condition, or to your flow condition inside your pipe? So I would say that the flow. So the turbulence is actually a flow dependence function. Turbulence is a function of the flow, not a fluid, it's a flow. Yeah. So okay, then probably we said the situation I just established is a laminar flow, is a stable flow. And they will say this kind of flow is not that sensitive to what I just mentioned, boundary condition, initial condition, the flow itself. But once some kind of criteria exist, the sensitivity become very large. It's like you have a very tiny small change to your boundary condition. Let's say boundary condition, okay. Tiny small change in your boundary condition, it will cause a very huge differences in your flow. And you probably cannot predict it. So that you call that kind of things random. But it is actually you said that it's not able to predict it. It is somehow a wrong statement. You actually can predict it if you can refine and make a very sophisticated I would not say assumption, a very sophisticated definition on your flow, on your boundary condition, and on your initial condition, and every parameters you may encounter. Yeah, and probably you can still use your governing equation, the equation of motion, and the continuity equation to calculate these kind of flow patterns, and you will get a precise answer, that is precise solution that looks like a random solution. Yeah. But because that is so sensitive, you probably cannot tell. Like you just move a little bit, the whole situation changes. Yeah. So in this case, we said this like a very sensitive system is called chaotic. So chaotic is predictable, and random is actually the random is unpredictable. But since this you say this chaotic, you are very difficult. It is very difficult to reach the solution of the chaotic system. So somehow you probably will use a random system to describe your flow your flow condition, your flow patterns or situation, whatever. Yeah. So I'm actually like I didn't go through the whole book, the whole chapters and the other chapters until to the chapter 12 or somehow to see what exactly they will use the statement of the probability. They use the probability analysis like PDF and CDF. And so as I said, there is a chaotic system and the random system. But we stay in the random. Let's just treat them as a random one. So is that random one actually not controllable? You probably can say, well, you should have followed a probability how to say okay, that's just probabilistic behavior. They probably have a probabilistic behavior. So a lot of the things like you will follow a specific behavior, so you can define the probability of your velocity. Let's just say the velocity probability. And in the from like section 3.2 to 3. I think it's 3.5. What I read all the context inside these sections is all about the statistics series. It was a series or say statistics stuffs. So it's about the distribution. How do you like define the probability density function (PDF) and the cumulative probability density function is CDF. So there's a lot of a kind of PDF and CDF and a distribution and it choose some of the distributions to introduce. So I just I didn't pay attention on the exercise. Probably we can, if we have time, we can do the exercise in future. Yeah. But for now, I just skip the exercise and try to figure out what kind of the materials it wants to bring out. So first is the concept of the probability density distribution and go to the further things like you will have root mean squares. Like root mean squares is the standard deviation, and the variance or the mean and different kind of the statistical statistical things. So probably so because I just read for 1 hour for these short sections, so I will say in the remain part you probably want to use a statistic to regulate the behaviors of the turbulence flows. Yeah, but I cannot tell now. But it's too interesting to say that how do you use a probability? Since combine the probability, the distribution since the random velocity, we said random or chaos velocity, to the actual physical, like a physical situation. You want to combine the statistical things to the physical equations or the physical descriptions. That will be very interesting. Like, how do you insert the statistic to the physical? But if you don't do that, like every time you do the experiment that is related to the turbulence, it will come out with a different, somehow follow some manners, but you will always get a different results. So if you don't use the statistics things to regulate, you cannot find what exactly happened in your experiments. I would say, yeah. That is my opinion. Yeah. So it was there is a term is called ensemble average. That's too deep. Yeah. Okay. So I'll say, yeah. This as just a briefly like a summary for what I read in the previous hour. Yeah, it's quite like quite fresh. This kind of it is quite fresh to me. That is the first time I trying to interpret these kind of things yeah, on my streaming. Yeah. I do know that I didn't did it well. I didn't do it well. Yeah, but yeah, it's still very exciting, very interesting. I'm trying to read something relative to my life and try to deliver this kind of information to everybody. I hope. Yes. And that is also the first time I use English to do live streaming. Yeah. Yep. I know my English is not very fluent, but yeah, practice make perfect. We will hope that the day I become perfect will be very soon. Yeah. So another thing is yeah, I do spend like 30 minutes to explain what kind of things I have read. Probably I'll try to figure out if there is a way I can write down something and streaming the scripts, the main script. I write down and use I think I need a camera to capture these kind of things if I want to stream this. But yes, I need to emphasize that I'm not an expert. I'm studying this. I will make mistake, a very big mistake. I will make a very big mistake that I need to clarify. So yeah. Okay. If anyone is interested in this topic, I'm very welcome. Yeah, you are very welcome to discuss with me. But if no, I'm just reading by myself. Yeah, highly interesting. I hope we can continue this kind of streaming topic. Reading is a good thing, but it is not always a good thing. You probably need to know if the things you read is correct or not. Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard, but we're doing this. Nice. Okay, so I will probably start my streaming at this point. So another thing is that another thing I want to mention is that I do see there's a person, yeah, rating dreams. Hey, your English name, rating dreams. Yeah, I have a book. The book is called The Elegant Universe by Brian Greene. Yeah, so I will try to find this book, and try to do the streaming reading. The streaming reading. Yeah. With this book. Yeah. Streaming reading with this book. Yeah. If I found this book, I will read this book first. Yeah. I will just put my turbulent thoughts aside. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for attending my reading time. Yeah. 非常感谢各位今天的参与。虽然我感觉大部分时间都是我在讲干话跟阅读东西。Yeah， 对，好。那我大概再没有要重讲，我就这样了，我就跟大家说再见。明天见，希望明天见，我希望我能坚持下去。